من البوابة الليبية للتعليم الإلكتروني نقدم لكم مادة اللغة الإنجليزية للسنة الثالثة ثانوي قسم العلمي English for Secondary 3 Scientific Section. Distance Learning Rules. قوانين التعلم عن بعد. Be on time. Get ready for the lesson. Choose a suitable place for learning. Raise your hand to participate. Turn off the mic. Turn off the camera. Don't leave the lecture. Unit 5, Holidays. Lesson 3, A Happy Tourist. Objects. Read an article for specific information. We have an article and we will read it for specific information. Extend knowledge of collocations. We have the meaning of collocations and some examples. Review the present perfect simple and continuous. We have the two tenses, present perfect simple and present perfect continuous with an examples. Let us start with the article. Its title is The Happy Traveler. This week, Steve Harbour tells us about his favorite Libyan tours company, Safar Tours. المقالة حول شخص حيتكلم أو حيخبرنا حول شركة السفر والسياحة الليبية المفضلة ليه وتجربته معها. الشركة اسمها Safar Tours, which written with the capital letters here. Let us start reading. I've been coming to Libya on business since 2009. In fact, in all I've visited this country 15 times now, and I still thoroughly enjoy my trips here. I usually extend my stay by a couple of extra days because one of the things I love doing here is going on excursions and doing some sightseeing. That's how I discovered Safar Tours, which is one of Libya's longest established travel companies. In fact, Safar Tours has been organizing trips and excursions for over 30 years. Ahmed Salim is the owner and manager of Safar Tours. I've known him for 3 years now, and I can honestly say that all his tours have most definitely led up to my expectations. I have never been disappointed in any way by any of the tours he has organized for me. I've been on trips to the desert. I have visited most of the ancient ruins in Libya. I've been to the Lips Magna in Homs, Sabrata, Tripoli's National Museum, Shahat, and been to the Libyan Sahara 3 times already. And that's only to name a few. Safar Tours was started by Ahmed's father, Ibrahim, in 1976 in a little office in Al-Rashid Street. Over the years, the business has grown considerably and they've moved offices several times. Since last July, they have had a very attractive modern office on Sadoun Street. I arrived here last Monday, so I've now been in Libya for 8 days. Since Thursday, when I finished my business, I have been going on tours around the country. I could never have achieved so much without the help of Ahmed Salim at Safar Tours. I certainly wouldn't hesitate to recommend this company to anyone considering an extended stay in Libya. After you have understood and skim this article, you have to answer these questions. Question number 1. How long has Steve Harper been coming to Libya? How long has Steve Harper been coming to Libya? Since 2009. Number 2. How many times has he visited the country? How many times has he visited the country? Can you remember? 15 times. Number 3. How long has Safar Tours been organizing tours? How long has Safar Tours been organizing tours? For over 30 years. Number 4. How long has Steve known Ahmed? How long has Steve known Ahmed? For 3 years. Number 5. How long has Safar Tours had their office on Asadun Street? How long Safar Tours had their office on Asadun Street? Since last July. Number 6. How long has Steve been in Libya so far on this visit? How long has Steve been in Libya so far on this visit? For 8 days so far on this visit. For 8 days. The last one. What has he been doing since finishing his business? What has he been doing since finishing his business? He has been going on tours around the country since finishing his business. Now we have finished the first part of our lesson, that we read the article and answer these questions. Let us go to the second part. The second part is the study of vocabulary. What do we mean by collocations? Collocations are words or phrases that we often find together, verbs and other types of words. هن كلمات نجدوهن مع بعض، ممكن يكونن verbs or any other type of words، يعني أي word class. For example, collocation can be verb plus noun, noun plus noun, adjective plus noun, and etc. We have an example here. Example of the verb perform. Perform ينجز أو يقدم. We perform a play. We can say perform a play. A surgeon performs an operation. جراح ينجز أو يقوم بإجراء عملية. We don't or we do not perform a discussion or a lecture. يعني the verb perform cannot go with the noun discussion or lecture. So we can say that perform, play, and perform an operation are collocation. يعني noun, the verb plus noun, verb perform and the noun play, the verb perform and the noun operation are collocation. نسموهن collocation ويجن مع بعضهن that often find together. We have another examples from the lesson. We have 4 examples from the article that we have read. Truly, I can honestly lift up to name a. How can we find a collocation for these words? Truly, enjoy. I can honestly say lived up to my expectations, to name a few. These are called collocations also. And the third part of our lesson is grammar or grammatical function, talking about period of time in the past. How long plus present perfect simple plus for or since. Here we'll study the form of the question by using how long plus present perfect simple, and how can we answer with for and since, and what's the difference between them. We use how long and the present perfect to ask about a period of time from the past until now. To ask about a period of time بنسأله عليه فترة زمنية that from the past يعني happened in the past, or action happened in the past until now. How long have you lived in this city? How long have you lived in this city? And as you have studied present perfect simple, have plus the past participle of the main verb live. Let us study the difference between for and since to answer this question. We use for to answer about a period of time that started in the past and continues until now. To answer about a period of time, the length of time لما بنجاوبه بطول الفترة الزمنية, a period of time. I have lived in this city for 10 years. For, here we use for لما بنذكره طول الفترة الزمنية 10 years. What about since? We use since to answer about a point in time when the action started. When the action started يعني بداية الفترة الزمنية اللي بدينا نعيشه في المدينة. I have lived here since 2010. Since, and here start the starting point or a point in time اللي هي بداية الفترة. So the difference here to answer this question between for and since: for when we mention the length of time, and since when we mention the starting point. Read the sentences and match each one to the statement that best describes it. Here we have sentences and we have to match them with this description. I've been at this college for 4 years. He has taught here since 2012. They have been friends since last year. My father has worked in that office for 6 months. Let us match these sentences with one of these descriptions. Talking about, we will choose either A, talking about a period of time, اللي هي for. For we will choose talking about a period of time, the length of the time, or B, talking about a point in time اللي هو description for since. I have been at this college for 4 years. We will choose A or B, period of time or a point in time. Here the sentence contains for. It means A, talking about a period of time. The second one, he has taught here since 2012. Since, a period or talking about a point in time. Yes, it's a point in time. Description B. The third one, They have been friends since last year. Since last year. A period of time or talking about point in time. Yes, we are talking about a point in time last year. The last one, my father has worked in that office for 6 months. Talking about a period of time or we talk about a point in time. Yes, it's a period of time, 6 months. We have another explanation for this, or show the difference between for and since. Look at these dates. We have now, and from now on, here the future, and 10 years before now, here the past, or 2011. If we ask a question, how long have they been married? How long have they been married? Here, when we answer with the length of the time, هنجاوب بطول المدة منذ 10 سنوات. How can we answer? To show the length of the time, you have to say for 10 years. For 10 years. منذ 10 سنوات. If we ask how long they have or how long have they been married, and we want the answer with the point in time, the starting point, or the date that they have been married on. How can we answer with the point in time? We have to use since. Since 2011. And the same answer or the same meaning if we say since 2011 or for 10 years. إذا كان قلنا من 2011 أو منذ 10 سنوات هي نفس المعنى. And are they still married or will they be married tomorrow? Yes, in both cases. So they still married now. This is the difference between for and since. And you have any examples and you have to do that yourself. If we say Friday, is it a length or point in time? Is it a starting point or length? هل هو يعبر على طول فترة أو starting point of time? Friday, الجمعة. And 10 years, 10 years, is it a length of time or point in time? So with Friday, you can use since. And with 10 years, length of time, you can use for. You have another examples and you have to do that yourself. I was at a nursery school, or last January, yesterday, 3 weeks, a month and a half, I was 6, ages, I was born the 1st of March, about 1996, 2 hours, a very long time. Try to answer or to do that yourself. I show you the proper answer. Look at the answer. Since I was at a nursery school, since last January, since yesterday, for 3 weeks, for a month and a half, since I was 6, for ages, since I was born, since the 1st of March, since about 1996, for 2 hours, and for a very long time. We have another examples with the sentence in a present perfect simple with for and since. You have to rewrite these sentences with for and since in a present perfect simple. The last time I saw her was in 2001. Not see. You have to say it to use not, or the sentence should be in the negative form and the main verb is see. So we can say I haven't seen her since 2001. Not should be after the auxiliary verb and see should be in the past participle, and here the subject her. Since here the starting point you have to use since، يعني أعطانا بداية الفترة اللي شفتها فيها. Okay, and it's not the length, so you have to use since. The second example, they got married 3 years ago. You have to use the main verb be and look at the period of time 3 years ago. Is it the starting point or length of time? So it's 3 years length، يعني طول فترة هنا 3 years 3 سنوات، يعني حنستعملوا for. They have and the main verb been in the past participle. They have been married for 3 years. For 3 years. Look at the other examples. Number 1. We first met them in July. And the main verb here that you have to use no. Here July you have to use for or since. It's not a length, it's a starting point in time, July. So you have to use since. We've known them since July. We have, and here the subject we, you have to use have. And the past participle of the verb known, known, them, and here starting point, July, since July. The second one, he bought that motorbike a long time ago. And the main verb here have, and with a long time ago. How can we answer this one? He has, with the subject he, you have to use has, as you have studied the form of present perfect simple. Have or has حسب الفاعل, according to the subject. He has, and the main verb have as a main verb, the past participle is had. He has had that motorbike a long time. Here length of time you have to use for a long time. The third one, she last went to the dentist in September. Not be. You have to use a negative form and the main verb is be. She, the auxiliary verb is, and here September you have to use for or since. It's a starting point, so you have to use since. Yeah. The answer is She has not, here a negative form, she has not been to the dentist since September. Number 4. We last ate there in July. You have to use the negative form and the main verb eat. The subject here, we. You have to choose have or has, and you have to put not, the main verb eat in the past participle, and you have to look at July is a starting point, it's not a link, so you have to use since. How can we answer this? We haven't eaten there since July. We haven't eaten there since July. Number 5. He got angry at lunchtime. He got angry at lunchtime. Here, and the main verb that you have to use, be. The subject is he. You have to choose has or have. He has, and the main verb be in the past participle, been. Here, lunchtime, is it a point in time or length? Lunchtime here is a point in time or starting point. He's been angry since lunchtime. He has been angry since lunchtime. The last one. The last time he wrote or phoned was 6 months ago. You have to use a negative form, not, and the verb be in touch. Here phrasal verb be in touch, يعني بقينا على تواصل به, be in touch. Here the subject is he. He has, and you have to use a negative form, not, he has not, and the main verb been in touch. He hasn't been in touch, and here 6 months, it's a length of time, يعني طول فترة هنا 6 months, for 6 months. He hasn't been in touch for 6 months. ننتقل إلى آخر نقطة في درسنا, talking about present action that started in the past, using present perfect continuous that you have studied before. Present perfect continuous درسناه في السابق, اللي هو have or has plus been plus the verb in the present participle, اللي هو verb plus ing. We use the present perfect continuous to ask and answer about activities that began in the past and have just finished or are still going on now. يعني حدث أو action happened in the past, began in the past, and still going on. Just finished يعني انتهى في الوقت الحالي أو مازال مستمر. بدأ في الماضي, انتهى في الوقت الحالي أو مازال مستمر, still going on. How can we ask about it? How long have they been talking? How long have they been talking? This is the form of the question of present perfect continuous. How long have they, here the past, here been, past participle of be, and the verb in the present participle. How long have you been waiting? This is the form of the question. The present perfect continuous describes the same time period as the present perfect simple. So they describe the same time period. يعني المضارع التام البسيط أو المستمر يصف نفس الفترة الزمنية So we use since or for with this since as well. يعني حنستعمله معاه في الإجابة الإجابة على المضارع التام المستمر حنستعمله since or for. So you can answer with since or for with a question with present perfect continuous. They've been talking for an hour. Okay, how long they have been talking? They have been talking for an hour or since 8 o'clock. So you can answer in with a question with a present perfect continuous. You can use for and since to answer these questions. We have here an exercise in the workbook. For each situation, write questions using the words in practice. Use the present perfect simple or present perfect continuous, then write a suitable answer using since or for. An example here, you arrive late for your appointment. You ask, you have to use how long and the main verb here wait. Okay, so how long should be followed with the auxiliary have and the subject you. How long have you been هذا تركيب الزمن have been and the verb in the present participle ing form. Have been verb plus ing. How long have you been? And the subject here should be after the auxiliary have. How long have you been waiting? And you can answer with for to mention the length of time. منذ وذكر طول الفترة الزمنية منذ 10 دقائق or since 6 o'clock if you mention a point or starting point من السادسة تماما. Let us start with number 1. You have a friend who is learning Japanese. You ask how long and the main verb here learn, and we'll ask about this object Japanese. How long? Start with how long, and you have to use the auxiliary have, object, the past participle of be, been, and the verb in the present participle. How can you ask? How long have you been learning Japanese? How long have and the subject you. How long have you been learning? The verb here learning Japanese. The second one, you meet a pilot. You ask how long and the main verb be, a pilot. How long and the auxiliaries, the main verb be. How long have you been a pilot? How long have you been a pilot? Here, present perfect simple. How long have you, past participle of be, been a pilot? Number 3, you meet somebody who is a writer. You ask with the present perfect continuous with how long and the auxiliary and the main verb write. How can we use this form or form a question with the present perfect continuous? How long have you been writing? How long have you been writing? Have, been, and the verb in the present participle ing form. How long have you been writing? And you can answer with since or for. You are going to meet a friend of your cousin. How long? No. How long? And the main verb no. How can we ask or how can you ask? How long have you known her? How long have you known her? Here, present perfect, simple, have, and the past participle of the main verb. Present perfect, simple. How long have you known her? The last one. Your sister is busy cooking for a party. How long and the verb cook. How can you ask her? How long have you been cooking? How long have you been cooking with the present perfect continuous. وبهذا نكون قد أنهينا درسنا لهذا اليوم. تمنياتي للجميع بالنجاح والتوفيق. مع تحياتي معلمتكم سرور الكرزان.